Hey everyone, today I wanted to show you guys how to brew iced pour-over iced coffee using XBloom Studio. A few months back we made an iced pour-over video using the Omni Dripper. Today we wanted to showcase to you using the pods, the X pods, on brewing iced pour-over. We just released 3 coffees, one from Black and White, Proud Mary, and Mod Cup. The various flavor profiles, check them out, that work really well for iced. And those coffees come with a specific recipe card for iced pour-over. Of course, you can take any coffee that we have on our marketplace and brew them iced. And of course, you can do that through the app or through the recipe card, and you can do all of that. But what we wanted to do today is just show you how it's done. It's very straightforward, so let's go ahead and do this. So on the recipe card, it will have instructions. What you'll want to do is get some ice, put your cup or carafe, in this case I have this nice little carafe, onto the scale. Take some ice. I don't have the prettiest ice cubes, but take some ice cubes and weigh out about 80 to 100 grams of ice. Feel free to adjust that here. So I have 92.5 grams of ice. So I got that here. Take your X pod and you can load the coffee and scan the recipe card, put the pod in and all of that. But I wanted to show you guys the recipe on my phone. So iced coffee, the reason why you'll see iced coffee recipes be a little bit different when you look at the app and you look at the card is that we're using less hot water to actually brew the coffee. So what we have to do is we actually have to compensate by grinding the coffee a little bit finer. Essentially, we're creating a very concentrated brew and then we're letting it dilute the ice. So you'll end up with a overall beverage that has this stronger concentrated liquid that is then just diluted by ice. So things should be cooled down and those coffees should open up. So generally speaking, a lot of our recipes are going to be around that 1:8 to 1:12 range. In this example, I'm using a 1:10 ratio. So that is 15 grams that I just put in the grinder to 150 mils of hot water, and we have about 90 grams of ice in there. So that still gets us around our 1:15 to 1:16, 1:17 ratio, and we generally grind a fair bit finer. So you're grinding at least 2 to 5, even 10 steps finer to compensate, depending on coffee, of course. You should change the amount of ice depending on the strength of brew you're looking for. So in this example, I got 92 grams of ice in here, and I'm putting 150 mils of hot. So I'm about 1:16-ish. And this is enough hot water that I'm adding that will dilute this down, and it will give me a crispy tasting sweet iced pour over. In this example, I'm using a funkier Black and White coffee, very similar to the one that we're releasing, and you'll see there that we're melting the ice. I like to place the carafe and ice cubes right under the pod, so when you see the streams of coffee come out, they're coming right over the ice cubes and they're melting and they're diluting. What's really nice about this, doing it this way, is that you just end up with a already cool beverage, and you can take that and of course pour it into your cup. The reason why we recommend 80 to 100 grams of ice is that if you're adding 80 grams of ice, you definitely get a hotter beverage. It's less ice, but those coffees will really open up. At 100 grams of ice, so you might want to adjust some of the recipes, and then at 100 grams of ice, you'll get a more sweetness forward cup. Ice generally kind of round things out. It can mute things, so there's a balance between that. We find that grinding finer and doing something like a 1:9, 1:10 ratio on the hot liquid part helps compensate for the brew here. But you can see, look at that. It is still nice and cool, and this is just going to have one more pour, and it is going to taste great. So there we go. That is the final pour on this. It's melting the ice cubes, but because we have 90-ish grams of ice in here, the coffee beverage is cooled down. We still get some nice ice cubes. It's refreshing. It still tastes like what the coffee tastes like hot, but it's just cooled down. And ice pour-overs generally have this nice rounding and sweetness finish on them. So there we go, finishes up. A lot of our iced coffee brews are going to be pretty quick because they're only 2 to 3 pours and you're pouring a lot less water. So there you go. So you can see it's still quite concentrated, and we have the ice cubes in here, and I'll just pour it into this cup for fun. But there you go. So